Hi there. I'm great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Fine. Discuss understanding personal finance, basics of budgeting and saving.
Sure. Let's start with the basics of budgeting. A budget helps you track your income and expenses, so you can ensure you're not spending more than you earn. A simple approach is to list out all your sources of income each month. Then list your fixed expenses, like rent, utilities, and loan payments. After that, note down variable expenses, like groceries or entertainment. The goal is to balance your income against your expenses, and ideally have some left over for savings. When you save, try to set aside a portion of your income regularly, maybe 10 to 20%, if possible. This money can go into an emergency fund or toward long-term goals, like buying a home or retirement. Does that give you a good starting point? I can go deeper into any part of that if you'd like.
Do you know exactly where your money goes each month?
That's a great question to ask yourself. Tracking every expense for a month or two can really help you understand your spending habits. Once you know exactly where your money is going, it's easier to spot areas where you can cut back or adjust. There are also budgeting apps that can help automate this process. Are you currently tracking your expenses in any way?
Have you ever created a monthly budget for yourself or for your family?
I don't have personal finances myself, but I can definitely help you create a budget that works for your situation. It's all about finding the right balance between your income, your expenses, and your financial goals. If you want, we can go step by step through the process so you can create your own monthly budget. Would you like to do that?
What does saving money means to you? Sacrifice or freedom?
Saving money can sometimes feel like a sacrifice in the short term because you're choosing not to spend it right away. But in the long run, it can actually mean more freedom because you're giving yourself options for the future. Whether it's an emergency fund that gives you peace of mind, or savings for a big goal like a vacation, a house, or retirement, that money can buy you freedom later on. It's really about finding the right balance between living today and planning for tomorrow.
What do you think so many people struggle with saving money?
It's a common challenge for a few reasons. One big reason is that living costs can be high, and it's sometimes hard to cover all expenses while still saving. Another reason is that it's tempting to enjoy spending in the present, especially when we're constantly surrounded by advertising or social pressures. Also, a lot of people may not have had financial education growing up, so they might not know how to budget or plan for the future effectively. It's not always about willpower. Sometimes it's just not having the right tools or knowledge.
Do you save first and spend later, or spend first or save what's left?
The best approach is usually to save first and spend later. This is often called paying yourself first. By setting aside a portion of your income as soon as you get it, you make saving a priority. Then you use what's left for your regular expenses and wants. This method helps you build savings more consistently, rather than relying on whatever's left over at the end of the month, which may not be much. It's all about making saving a habit, even if it's a small amount at first.
In your opinion, what is the biggest mistake people make when managing their money?
One of the biggest mistakes people often make is not having a clear plan or budget. When you don't track your income and expenses, it's easy to overspend without realizing it. Another common mistake is not building an emergency fund. So when unexpected expenses pop up, people often rely on credit or loans, which can lead to debt. Also, many people delay saving for retirement or other long-term goals because it feels too far away. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. So planning ahead is crucial.
Is it more important to earn more or spend less? Why?
That's an interesting question, and it really depends on your situation. Ideally, you want a balance of both. But if you have to choose one, spending less is often the more immediate and controllable factor. You can usually cut back on unnecessary expenses right away, whereas increasing your income can take more time and effort. But in the long term, earning more gives you greater flexibility and the ability to save and invest more. The key is to avoid lifestyle inflation, where your spending increases as your income grows. That way, you maximize both sides of the equation.
Should budgeting be tough in schools? What age should it started?
The earlier, the better. Even basic concepts of money can be introduced in elementary school. Things like saving a small allowance or understanding the difference between needs and wants. By middle or high school, more detailed budgeting lessons can really help, like tracking expenses, setting goals, and learning about interest. The earlier kids learn these skills, the more prepared they'll be as adults. It's really a life skill that can empower them for the future.
Do budgeting apps really help, or is pen and paper still the best?
Both approaches can work well. It really depends on your personal preference. Budgeting apps can definitely make it more convenient by automatically tracking expenses and giving you real-time insights. They're especially helpful if you want something quick and easy to maintain. On the other hand, pen and paper can be great for people who like a more hands-on, thoughtful approach. Physically writing things down can make you more aware of your spending habits. Ultimately, the best tool is whichever one you'll stick with and use consistently.
Thank you very much for today.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Take care.